this is Treta 10. It's got no title, which is terribly helpful. And the first one says that I will I will attack on my outside line, keeping my opponent's blade subjected. So I naturally read this as I'll take the attire from my subjection and I'll thrust into here with opposition. Seems easy. And then it says if they are to use a sweep parry to do that, then I'll pass the sword with just a turn of my wrist and conclude. So I take the attire on the outside and start my attack. If there's a sweep parry, I roll with my wrist, then I conclude. So that's the first part of it, and there's another option, because it doesn't actually say that first attack is a thrust, and it doesn't have the subjection as the start of it, so it doesn't say taking the start of a thrust. What it actually says is strike to the outside line, keeping my opponent's blade subjected. So Aiden's going to show a possibility of how we can use that with cut. So you can see he's doing this, keeping my blade subjected by ensuring that he's cutting with the hand forward. So let's do it again. More like a saber or back sword style. And the starting section may be a little bit different or a little bit changed. But he was also saying that the sweeping parry seems like very much what's done against cuts in all of the other systems, so maybe that encourages that to be a cut. Once again, we can see that if we do the same thing, so this one, he throws the cut, I defend with a big sweeping parry, he can roll in and pass with a turn of his wrist and complete and conclude in any way you want. This one's to the outside, which makes it much nicer. Okay, so just playing with the idea of using a cut for that first attack, we actually find if I sweep parry in the other way, it helps the conclusion out. So it's just another possibility. Throwing the cut and I'm sweep parrying out, turning the wrist, conclude. Thanks. Treta 10 continued, so it said now if I don't want to do the conclusion, then I'll strike them with a twisting thrust, helio thrust, helicopter thrust is the way I'm thinking of it, but it's a spirally thrust. So as I step away, the important part there. So one of the options, which seems most simple, I've taken my attire here, I've got to a thrust to my outside, they've used a sweep parry, I'm just spiraling around, and as I step away, I thrust. This doesn't have much spiral to it. It's more like our thrust is a quarter circle where I just come around to the edge. So possibly thereafter something with a bit more spiral, which we've come up with. So I've got the attire here. I've got the attire on the outside, I've gone to thrust, swept parry, then I've spiraled all the way around and I thrust as I retreat out to here. So I want to catch that sweep parry, which is quite vertical, and thrust as I step away on the other side. Let's see if I can make it work. So I'm thrusting here, sweep parry, spiral all the way around, strike on the way out. The thrusting's quite low. I'm trying pretty hard to put a spiral in there. I'm not really sure how that's going to fit. This is still Treta 10, and we're exploring if we're countering with the corkscrew thrust, and if I've done the cut as the initial attack instead of the thrust, what that could possibly look like. So I'm going to be cutting on the outside here somehow, and we'll get my opponent to the other way down. So I'm going to cut here on the outside, they're going to use the sweeping parry to sweep me over and out of the way, and then I'm going to do as much corkscrew as I can to strike on my way out. So in that one I've like spiraled all the way around, almost picked it up from the attire as I thrust and passed through. So this is Treta 10 continued. This is now talking about the counter if they were to do the attack to me. The first response is just to transfer over and conclude, which is very much like the other one. The one that I find a little more interesting is if I actually do the sweep parry and bait them into passing their sword so that I can thrust them like a river. So what that might look like is as Ron comes over to do his thrust into here, I use my sweep parry, and as he rolls his hand up into there, I'm now striking like a river into this point down to here. Twisting around, twisting.